Good evening. Good evening. How you doing? This afternoon, let's talk about fear. Uh, this is a 8 discussion or a lesson. We're gonna talk about fear today. But before we do, let's bow our heads and a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. How y'all doing? Man, I was sitting up there thinking about that little song. How did thing go? Man, use a window shopper in a jewelry store looking at shit we ain't go buy. That see that right there. That reminds me like the commitment to staying sober. That commitment is a hard thing, you know. It's not really hard. I mean, let me rephrase that. Commitment takes commitment. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So you have to make a commitment to stay sober. A lot of us want to window shop with the sobriety. We just want to look at it, oh, it look good, but we don't want to commit. We don't want to commit, and it takes a commitment. Shoot, I tell you what, it's like an insurance company. They say if you switch from Allstate to Geico, you'll save this much money. I tell you what, you switch from using drugs to going sober, you'll save more than the $200 they talking about saving you on the insurance. I can guarantee you that. Because how many of us then pretty much, how many people out there can say that they didn't bought a house with, or could have bought a house or multiple houses with the amount of money that we done spent on drugs and alcohol? Some of us had a fear of commitment, the fear of speaking, fear of success. I mean, you got all kind of different fears, and fear is that's another adversity. If you can get over that fear, then it'll open it up for opportunities. It'll definitely open up opportunities for you. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles in staying sober. Yes, it is. But let me say this. You know one thing we wasn't afraid of? Excuse me 1 second. We knew what we was using was poison. We know when we drink it was poison. And a lot of people like use I put a hand on the stove and I know it's hot and I still gonna touch it. No, I'm gonna go a little deeper than that. That our addiction, them drugs and alcohol, is like a rattlesnake. See that thing? But we still want to act like we Steve Irwin or somebody or Snake Wrangler and try to charm it and want to dance with it. But we can't. It's a poisonous snake. And it may bite us. And we need Narcan or something like that, we need some kind of antidote. We need to be saved. We done call it mild stroke, and next thing you know, we go into the hospital. We got all kind of IVs in us and stuff like that. But yet and still, we come out and still try to tame that same snake that we know that's gonna bite us and is poisonous. Well, we lose all fear of that. But when it comes to fear of staying sober, or if we really can do it, we hold on to a fear like that. But then the fears that we should have, or like a natural fear like that, we kind of don't listen to. And like I said, it's one of the biggest obstacles to staying sober. I was reading something and it said, fear is false evidence appearing real. That's another word of perception, how we perceive things of that nature. Let me go into the book, what the book says about fear. It's in how it works. It starts off on 67. And it says, notice the word fear is bracketed alongside of the difficulties of Mr. Brown, Mrs. Jones, and the employer, and the wife. This short word touches about every aspect of our lives. It was an evil, corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. It was an evil and corroding thread. That's like putting some good clothes in there, and you know how you just let it sit and bleach. I just eat it up. And some of that stuff, it tastes like it got bleach in it. So, they just eat it up. It just corrodes us. It constantly just eats away at us. It's corroding. That's a slow death. That means it eats at you slow. Sometimes it's faster. When they say sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, it could be faster, a lot faster. Fear tries to get us to say, why try if I might fail? Why try? I might fail anyway. That's fear. We got to combine courage and logic against fear. With that, it's 2 against 1, because we got to combine courage and logic to combat the fear. The logic is that we need to stay sober to improve our lives. The logic is that we need to stay sober even to stay alive. And they say fear. And this is another type of fear. I tell you what, my DOC was crack cocaine. Started out with powder cocaine, and ended up with crack cocaine. So my DOC was crack cocaine. And I think one night, I think I got some of that unemployment money or something like that. I just true talk. Got some of that unemployment money, and I think I smoked up the whole 900, whatever they gave me, and I smoked that up one day, and by the end of the night, I had a panic attack. I felt like my heart was beating out my chest. I'm talking about it was 1,000 miles an hour, and I was standing on the corner just tripping, and I thought to myself, I said, man, I really look like how a person can't tell that I'm straight up using if they just go past us like that, If they drive past me, if they walk past me, they could tell I'm using, because my eyes look like a deer in headlights, It looked like a deer in headlights. And I think it was a guy walking up the street, a young cat, and had his hands in his pocket. Man, I took off. Scary ass. I took off. Boom. And I kept looking back and back and back. I could imagine how I made that guy feel because of my fear. Now, not only I'm fearing I'm having a heart attack or something like that, I'm fearing that, hey, somebody's out to kill me. Yeah, somebody out to kill me, all right. Myself. I was out to kill myself. They got a spirit working against whoever you call God. I call him the Most High. And it's another spirit working against that. Without good, it could be no evil. Without evil, it could be no good. And he is trying to kill you. Yeah. By any means necessary. Yeah. I got some word right here. All right. I also go in the big book, of course. I talk about the big book. We got the big book. That's that big blue one. And then you got the big book, which be, for me, the Holy Bible. All right. Jeremiah 1, verse 4. The Lord said, Jeremiah, I am your creator. And before you were born, I chose you to speak to the nations. I want that to sit for a little minute. Before you were born, I chose you to speak to the nations. Before you were born, I chose you to speak to another addict. I replied, I am not a good speaker, Lord. I am too young. And that's another fear. That's another fear. Some of us, we don't want to even speak at an AA meeting because we feel like, hey, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not a good speaker. Why do you choose me? But we really have been chosen already to do His will. And that's part of His will. That's part of service work. That's fear. It takes courage to overcome fear. It takes courage to give your will up and do His will, what His will is for you. You know, it's a saying going around that I heard a long time, and I've been hearing it since, and it said, if you're scared, go to church. But the way it was used, it was so derogatory or so misleading or so like, if you're scared, which was a little scary behind, go to church. And it was almost used as like a reverse psychology. Like, don't go to church because you ain't got no business of being scared. I don't think y'all heard me. I'm talking to somebody out there. And the Lord said, don't say you're too young, the Lord answered. If I tell you to go speak to someone, then go. And when I tell you what to say, don't leave out a word. I promise to be with you and keep you safe. So don't be afraid. That's when we go and we speak to somebody, or whenever we go and we got a sponsee, and some of us have never sponsored somebody before. Maybe when you go to sponsor somebody, don't be afraid. Maybe they won't relate. When you speak at a meeting, don't be afraid of, oh, what I'm going to say. I want to make them laugh. I want to do this. No, just be yourself and don't worry about what you're going to say. Just let it flow out. See, when we get to worry about if somebody else likes us and things of that nature, then now we back in self-will again. And that's exactly what we're trying to get out of. The Lord reached out His hand. Then He touched my mouth and said, I am giving you the words to say. Amen. He will give you the words to say. You know, we just can't be fearful. You know, and what it say is, I'm going back to the big book, page 67. And it says, it was an evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. And they got people, fear, like it say the fabric of our existence shot through with it. They got people that's fear of raindrops. They got people that has a fear of the color yellow. That's xanthophobia. It's xanthophobia. Let's keep reading. But did we not ourselves set the ball rolling? Sometimes we think fear ought to be classed with stealing. It seems to cause more trouble. We reviewed our fears thoroughly. We put them on paper. Even though we had no resentment in connection with them, we asked ourselves why we had them. Really? Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Self-reliance was good as far as it went, but it didn't go far enough. Some of us once had a great self-confidence, but it didn't fully solve the fear problem or any other. When it made us cocky, it made us worse. And it's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. You gotta watch that. You're supposed to be confident. Yeah, be confident in yourself. You definitely be confident in yourself, and don't hold nothing back. You know, one thing I noticed, we want people to like us so much sometimes, and we just make up stuff. Don't want to tell the whole truth. But I'm gonna tell you, I like to meet a person, or I like to meet a woman, and she really got it out the mud. And she got out the mud because it's nothing more sexier to me than a woman who was one way, was all the way down and out, but changed her way all the way around. Changed her life all the way around. Put her good foot down and made her soul a winner. And the same thing with us men. We ain't got to be nobody else or pretend. We ain't got to fear that somebody won't like us for who we are, because all we got to do is put our good foot down and make our souls winners. Amen. Can you make it better? So I'm going to go one more and then we'll wrap it up. The things, one thing about future tripping. A lot of us do future tripping, including myself. We say, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? But I'm telling you, the things that we worry about is not as bad as the things that we had, meaning addiction. The small things that we worried about now are nothing compared to that big burden on our shoulders, that big cloud over our heads called addiction. I like to say, you know, with this AA thing, a big part of it is service work and fellowship. All right. So when they say you got to change people, places, and things, that's true. And when people can walk away from them, we got to let them go, because half the time they wasn't no good for us anyway. It's our drinking buddies. It's our you know, and if they're real friends, they won't walk away from us. See, people leave us because they're not joined to us. And see, we so crazy, we try to make them stay. We try to get super glue and make them stay. That's where it's different in AA. See, our destiny is tied to helping other people in AA. Yeah. See, we try to make them, the wrong people stay. But our destiny is tied to helping other people in AA. Amen. Amen. Perhaps there is a better way. We think so. For we are now on a different basis, the basis of trusting and relying upon God. We trust infinite God rather than our finite selves. We are in the world to play a role He assigns. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. See, a lot of us, we want to drive our lane, and we want to go over to the next lane, and we want to switch lanes and things like that. No, stay in your lane. I'm gonna tell you what I did to stay in my lane. You know, I'm not recommending this for everybody and everybody, but I'm gonna tell you what I did to stay in my lane. I burned bridges to keep distance. You hear me? So I could stay in my lane. I burned certain bridges with people I knew that wasn't no good for me. I burnt them bridges so I can keep a distance from them, so I can create a distance. That's why I burnt the bridge. Amen. It said we are in the world to play the role he assigns, just to the extent that we do as we think he would have us, and humbly rely upon him. He enables us to match calamity with serenity. We never apologize to anyone for depending upon our Creator. We can laugh at those who think spirituality is a weakness. Hence why I say what they say if you're scared, go to church. Paradoxically, it is the way of strength. Huh? You ain't gotta eat no can of spinach, it's right here. It's right here in this big book. Amen. The verdict of the ages is that faith means courage. All men of faith have courage. They trust their God. We never apologize for God. Instead, we let him demonstrate through us what he can do. We ask him to remove our fear and direct our attention to what he would have us to be. We commence to outgrow fear. Instead, we let him demonstrate through us. That's attraction rather than promotion. That's attraction rather than promotion. Attraction rather than promotion is that's part of 12 tradition, page 562 in the big book, and that'd be number 11. See, attraction rather than promotion. What attracts people is going to be 4 changes in your life. 4. How should I do it like where's your boy on the 5th floor of Martin? Yeah. It say 4 changes in our life. It's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Once them changes come in our life, there'll be no need for promotion because people are automatically attracted to that. Once your family and once everybody around you see you have that glow, that glow, you know, that almost like a halo over your head. That's the attraction. Or some of us, we want to be attracted to the wrong thing. Fear. Sometimes we like to litigate over how much I have a right to have what other people have. So I'm still attracted to my own will. But sometimes it happens at different times for all of us because it's sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly for all of us. You know, I haven't suffered what they suffered through. I haven't floated through what they floated through or survived what they survived. None of us have. We all got a different story. And that's it on fear. We're going to close this out with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all sin and evil. Thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.